Peace and love, peace and love. I gotta do some cleanup on my phone pretty soon to free up some space, because right now it's saying I only got 32 minutes, so this video would definitely be less than 32 minutes. That's all I got. I just left the barbershop. Got hair in my ears. Man, so peace and love. I hope everybody doing good on this beautiful Friday. I am preparing for my second photo shoot. I guess my first DYIG shoot. First official shoot. So yeah, I'm excited about that. That's why I had to go get a cut. I really wanted to get it tomorrow, like right before the shoot, and then that way it'll be like as fresh as possible. But unfortunately, I couldn't work it out to be that. So tomorrow is the shoot. Haircut today. But I'm probably gonna sleep standing up tonight and make sure that my beard don't smear. Make sure my hairline don't fade. I'm gonna sleep standing up. But yeah, for this ride home, I just thought I'd jump on here and make a video to kind of just encourage everybody, but let everybody know, like, this whole video series for me doing these has been special, because a lot of them, and I tell y'all this all the time, a lot of them, when I'm speaking them like live, I don't know how deep it is, you know. A lot of times it's not until I watch it back later that I'm like, you know, and I mean like watching it later, like later that day, you know, later that night when I watch them, they tend to hit a little harder. But some of them, like if you come back to them weeks later, to me they like, whoa, I said that, you know. Like by the time I actually catch up in my life to the knowledge that I spoke, it's like, wow. It's like me speaking it kind of walks me into it in a way. So, with that being said, I'm gaining a better understanding of how we are going to collectively build. Because that was something that I talked about in earlier videos. I'm sorry, y'all. That's a little bit of traffic. So, but that was something that I spoke about in earlier videos. Is like the idea of us collectively building. But before I dove into how we collectively build, like the actual steps, like of building, I kind of backed it up, slowed it down to talk more about how we can prepare ourselves to be able to build together. And understanding that the only way we will really be able to build together is we have to have some level of self-accountability, self-discipline. We got to be working on ourselves. We got to make sure that we're being, you know, honest people. We got to have, you know, good intentions with anything that we do, any person that we deal with. We can not be out here wishing bad on people or doing evil things and stuff like that. It's a certain way we got to move it, and not that everybody's going to be 100% perfect, or, you know what I'm saying, like we're imperfect people. Like I'm not saying we're going to be these perfected people and then start building, or these perfect people and start building, but we're going to be people that are in the process of being perfected. So by going through these steps, me expressing, you know, some of the things I've been dealing with in my healing process and my growing process, things that I've been learning, things that I've been experiencing, things that I've been going through, similar to some of the things that y'all are going through and experiencing. And you know, sometimes we experience things and we can't fully understand why. We don't know why. We just know we went through something, and it may cause us to feel like there's something wrong with us because we went through something, or we did, you know, it's because we did this bad thing one time that we're going through bad things. And that's not always the case. And I know we like to use the word karma a lot. And so we always feel like it's like you do something one day and one day bad is going to come to you because you did something bad. It's not necessarily just that, you know. It's kind of one of those things, though. If you, I don't want to deal with karma. We'll talk about karma another time. What I'm really trying to get at is our mind, our mental. You know, we'll think these things about ourselves, that things that are happening to us are direct results of a bad thing, and it's not always a bad thing. That is why we go through things. Sometimes we go through things to see if we are prepared, to see if we are the right person to go to the next level, to see if we have really done the work internally, to work on ourselves to be elevated. So with all of the talk that we've been having about building, and you know, like I say, I've done probably a lot more talking about healing than building. The reason being, though, is because we got to heal ourselves and get rid of these traumas and these negative attributes. You know, we got to clean up as much of that as possible so that when we come into this unified place to begin, you know, building communities together, these new communities, not the community that you necessarily live in now, because you probably live in a community where you don't even know all your neighbors by name, you know, and that's kind of like that's a community that you did not choose. You may have chosen your apartment or your house, but you did not choose your neighbors. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So you didn't choose your community. You chose one place and you were put into a community. But when we start building these new communities where we are selecting as a group, 10 of us are coming, 10 families are coming together, and we're collectively bringing our resources together to purchase land that is large enough for all 10 families to have their own space. So we know our neighbors, and we know that we're like-minded. We know that we have systems in place, or we've created systems, or we're creating systems, or all of our businesses kind of complement one another, and we support each other. That's what we're headed towards. But you got to know who those people are that are going to be in your community, and you're finding these people right now in this time. Some of them may be your neighbors currently, but it's not going to be all of them, because everybody not into what you into. So right now you're going through processes of elimination, and not that you're necessarily cutting everybody off who's not like you, but you know that they're not going to be in your community. You know, they may be your friends, but I don't know if you work out in my community, because of where we're trying to go. We're not trying to live that lifestyle no more. We're not trying to do those types of things anymore. You know, over here we really trying to, you know what I'm saying, we're going to try to, you know what I'm saying, work with each other. We're trying to support each other. We're not coming over here to talk about each other. We're not finna be fighting each other. Our kids not about to be fighting, because they're going to be being brought up in the same mind, you know, and free to have their own mind, but they're going to be brought up in the same mind of understanding community building. They're going to understand the importance of loving your neighbor, loving yourself, you know, and a lot of that has been removed in our communities. You know, it doesn't exist. You hate your neighbors, you know, and that's not where we're going. The future, that's all about to end. And you're going to have to start choosing who your neighbors are going to be. Who's your community? Who are the people that you are going to connect to and build? I saw an article today. They were talking about putting the vaccine. There's some scientists that have been working on a way to put the vaccine into lettuce. into lettuce. So instead of people having to get injected, you would just eat the lettuce. Now, some of you may just look at lettuce and say, well, I don't really be eating salad like that. And if you say that, that's fine. But sometimes you gotta see bigger than just yourself. Just consider, if they can put it into lettuce, what else could they put it in? So let's say you're a person that doesn't want to participate in that, which is your choice. Well, what if you choose not to participate, but you choose to eat a food that contains it? Then what? So you really got to see like what this means on the larger scale of where we're headed, and why we're going to have to be wise in the foods that we choose to eat, the things that we choose to consume. Not only foods though, the things that we choose to consume as far as what we watch, what we put into our bodies, our minds, what we feeding ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, and what we're actually eating, putting into our bodies. Like, all of that is important, and the more you pay attention to what's going on in the world, the more you should realize why it's so important right now. Like, I mean, this is no joke, man. It's really serious out here. We have to be serious about making a stand or choosing which side of history you choose to be on. I'm not here to criticize anybody's decisions in life and whether what you're pro and what you're against, but the reality is new communities are going to be formed based on your belief systems, based on what you want out of life. That is going to be the new communities. It's not going to be I like living on the north side, so I'm going to find a place on the north side, because the place available might be a place that does not condone the things that you're into, and then you're going to be an outcast. I mean, it's already kind of like that, but based on other things. I'm choking on something. I need my water popping. I dropped my top, so I guess I just gotta finish this. So, I mean, we already live in a system like that as it is, where you can move to a certain neighborhood and be an outcast. But now it's just going to be a different type of thing. Like, and I guess to some degree it is still based on beliefs, but you'll see exactly what I mean here real soon. Like, this video will make more sense later as well when you see it actually happening. As some of these systems that are in place, some of the markets are starting to crash and go downhill, and people are starting to lose confidence in certain things that they once had confidence in. You're going to see some of these things that used to somewhat hold value no longer hold value, or no longer hold weight. So as we continue to go through that process, there are going to be some separations. I talked about before, we're in a time of separation. You're not gonna move forward and live in places where you're not surrounded by people who think like you, because you're gonna be dependent upon one another for different types of things, not only for economic survival, but just for survival in general. And I'm not trying to spook anybody into thinking that somebody's going to be coming to bother you, but those are the types of communities we're going to be building, where we protect our communities again. Because right now it's just like communities kind of run how they run, you know what I mean? It's certain activities sometimes control certain neighborhoods. Well, you're not going to want to live in a neighborhood that's going to be, unprotected. So therefore, you're going to start learning ways of how you can protect your community. And being in a community of all your people, family, friends who are like-minded, who agree to become a part of this community with you, y'all going to look out and protect one another. Definitely first and foremost protecting the kids, then protecting the women, and then, protecting whoever else is left. And I'm not excluding saying protecting the men. I'm not saying that. I'm saying children and women are a priority to protect as men. But then we also have to protect our community as a whole from just not letting any and everything inside of our community. Because you're not going to allow people or things in your community that will destroy your community. Times have changed, and we have to understand what is taking place. And like I said, as people continue to lose faith in this system that we have, and you're going to see some things coming down. You're going to see more things crashing. You're going to see more changes, and people might start finding new ways to do business that don't involve dollars. Getting back, and not even new systems, but going back to some of the old systems of trade and barter. And we're going to be dependent upon one another, and the services and products that we provide, that will be our own marketplace. In our community, we have a marketplace where we can all work with each other for goods and services. It's coming, y'all. Whether y'all believe it or not, y'all think I'm talking backwards and saying we're going backwards in time to be thinking like that. Hey, to each his own, But we're going to be going back to a system of trading and borrowing. Bartering. So developing your skills now, things you can do for yourself, and knowing that you got people around you that you can do business with, exchange goods and services with, feel comfortable with your children growing up together with. These are going to be your communities. You're going to be choosing your community. You're not going to just be going searching for an apartment in an apartment book, or searching for a house for rent. I know my family, we've been looking for a house for about 3 years now. Now, I know there's new houses available. There's new houses being built. I understand that. But I've been paying attention to something the past 3 years, though. I've been paying attention to where this world is headed, and understanding that it's a reason why there has not been the one we want yet. There hasn't been the one that we're like, this is the place. Because the times are changing, and we might be looking for another location soon because of what's to come, and because we're gonna be looking to build a community with like-minded people here soon. So it's almost like perfect timing that we not perfect timing, but almost a reason why we haven't been able to find that place, because we were being prepared, or being warned to prepare this community type of mindset, beginning to trust one another and love one another and work with one another, even if we disagree on certain things. Like just having an understanding that it's okay to disagree. We don't have to beef because we disagree. I don't have to hate you because I disagree with you. You don't have to hate me because you disagree with me. I don't have to hate you because I don't like the way you do something. And you don't have to hate me because of the way I do something. Just understanding that I do it this way, you do it that way, that's fine. Do we get the same result in the end? You know? And if we don't get the same result, am I willing to look at how you did it and understand your process and how you came to the result you came to? And are you willing to look at my process and see how I came to the result I came to? Is there something I can offer you that will add value to what you're doing? Is there something that you can offer me that will add value to what I'm doing? If so, I'm open. Are you open though? Are you open to new ideas, new things that you haven't done yet? Or are you one of those people that if you don't think of the idea, you don't think it's worth it? You don't think it's good? I know a lot of people like that. I know some people that only like an idea if they think of it. I know some people that will shoot your idea down to your face, but then later try to do your idea as if it was their idea. Man, I done seen it all. But I understand that if anybody, I don't care how young, old, male, female, if you bring me knowledge that I did not have, I'm open to receiving knowledge, especially if you're confirming something that I've questioned and been seeking an answer to. Because I understand that who the source is and that we all possess the ability to speak it once we get connected to it. So I might have said too much, and this might not be a cohesive video, but you know, we'll see shortly how this thing pans out. But I hope this was helpful. I really hope this helped you kind of understand something better than you did before. But we just can't build those types of communities until we get all the other stuff out of the way first. You got to have a clear heart and mind before you got to be open to not getting upset and emotional about everything that happens to you, not taking everything personally. All the things that we talked about, it all goes together to prepare us to go into this new community, the new world. Things not gonna look the same, and if you're still trying to follow what has been for the past 400 years or for the past 6,000 years, you're gonna fade. So I hope that didn't go over anybody's head. I hope that it all gels together and that it makes sense. We gotta heal ourselves, y'all. Let's heal ourselves, and let's start building with one another. We can start small, you know. But I know real soon I'm gonna seriously be ready to have these conversations about a good 10 of us coming together, and let's look into acquiring some land. You know, that it doesn't necessarily have to right away be a situation that we are trying to move out there and build a house on it. I'm not even saying that, but if you're ready to build, then hey, build. But it may be a situation where we're just acquiring the land, you know, while it's available to use it at a later time. We may need to get some things prepared on the land first. We may need to, you know, till the land. We may need to establish water on the land and establish electricity on the land. So it might be a time thing, but we got to start the process. We got to get to where we at least making the moves, so that, you know, even if it's not in my lifetime, even if it's not in your lifetime, but we're acquiring the land for us to later be able to turn around and leave that land to our children. Now our children have somewhere to start. They don't have to worry about going to pay rent somewhere, paying a mortgage. They can live on their own property, eliminate the need of paying, and build themselves from the ground up. Something that we didn't have the opportunity to do. We weren't born into that. We weren't born on a property that we own. We were renting. We were born into renting and paying mortgages. But imagine being born on your own land, and that's one less expense that you got to spend out. Now that money can stay in, and now look what you're able to do. That's building wealth. But we're going to get there one step at a time. I told you I only had 32 minutes. We done talked almost 26 minutes. So peace and love. I love y'all. I hope that makes sense. I'm at home anyway, and I'll talk to y'all real soon.